Hello everyone, welcome back to the World Conflict Monitor channel, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for regular updates on the world's most pressing conflicts. Today's story begins with one of the most shocking and consequential strikes in the escalating Iran-Israel shadow war. An Israeli airstrike has reportedly wiped out the Iran-backed Houthi Prime Minister and several top officials in Yemen, sending shockwaves across the Middle East and raising urgent questions about the future of the Iran-Israel confrontation. This event marks a turning point, not just in Yemen's internal conflict, but in the larger geopolitical chessboard where Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United States are all directly or indirectly entangled. The summary of the story is that Israeli fighter jets, acting on what intelligence sources claim was precise surveillance of Houthi leadership movements, carried out a high-intensity strike in the heart of Sana'a, Yemen's capital. The targets were not just ordinary officials but the political and military leadership figures seen as Iran's bridge into Yemen. Among those killed was the Houthis' so-called Prime Minister, along with senior commanders who coordinated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. This was not a symbolic attack but a decapitation strike designed to cripple the Houthis' political command structure and send a message to Tehran that its allies, no matter how far, are not beyond the reach of Israeli air power. The operation comes at a time when Iran is testing Israel's red lines across multiple fronts, through Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Syria and Iraq, and Houthis in Yemen who have targeted both Saudi Arabia and shipping in the Red Sea. The strike has raised alarm that the localized Yemen conflict is no longer confined but now fully integrated into the Iran-Israel war by proxy. When we look at the exterior, the strike itself was executed with extreme precision. Satellite images and eyewitness accounts show multiple air-to-surface missiles hitting the compound where Houthi leaders had gathered. The destruction was total, with the building reduced to rubble in a matter of seconds. From the outside perspective, this was not a random bombing campaign but a targeted elimination carried out by highly advanced aircraft, most likely F-35 stealth fighters. Their ability to penetrate heavily monitored airspace and conduct strikes without detection demonstrates the superior technological edge Israel maintains over regional adversaries. The impact externally is also visible in the streets of Sana'a, where civilians rushed to the scene, stunned by the scale of destruction. The blast shook surrounding neighborhoods, and the smoke rising from the city became a symbol of Israel's expanding battlefield reach. Externally, the strike sends an unmistakable message. Israeli power projection extends beyond its immediate borders into the depth of the Arabian Peninsula. On the interior level, the aftermath is more subtle but equally critical. The short paragraph of the interior shows the internal chaos within the Houthi leadership structure. The sudden loss of top officials has created confusion, anger, and desperation. Iran-backed groups in Yemen are now scrambling to replace their slain leadership, while at the same time trying to maintain morale among fighters. Internally, the Houthis face a crisis of legitimacy because their claim of resilience against foreign powers has been shattered. The fact that Israel, far removed geographically, could reach inside Yemen and surgically eliminate their top leadership exposes vulnerabilities they had long denied. The interior also involves Iran's own dilemma. Tehran's allies are bleeding, but retaliation comes with the risk of full-scale confrontation with Israel and possibly with the United States. In terms of performance, Israel's strike showcased not only its military hardware but also its intelligence capability. The performance here was flawless, at least from the Israeli perspective. First, gathering intelligence on the secret movements of the Houthi leadership in a war-torn country like Yemen is no small feat. It suggests deep penetration of Iran-backed networks and likely the use of advanced surveillance drones, cyber intelligence, and regional informants. Second, the coordination between intelligence and Air Force execution was seamless. The performance of the strike was measured by its success in eliminating precisely the intended targets without, according to reports, large-scale collateral damage. Israel has long prided itself on performance in surgical strikes, and this operation will be held up as a textbook case of modern warfare where intelligence dominance merges with stealth aircraft to deliver decisive outcomes. Safety features of such an operation are often overlooked but crucial. For Israel, safety meant ensuring that the strike minimized civilian casualties, avoided hitting sensitive sites that could cause unnecessary escalation with third parties, and guaranteed the safe return of its pilots and aircraft. The F-35 jets, with their stealth capabilities, provide a natural safety shield by reducing the risk of being detected by radar. Furthermore, the use of precision-guided munitions meant that the destruction was limited to the intended compound, ensuring the strike remained a clean, contained operation. Safety also extended to broader strategic considerations. By hitting Yemen, Israel demonstrated its ability to reach Iran's allies while still avoiding direct confrontation with Tehran itself, a calculated balance of risk and restraint. The unique selling points of this strike are numerous. First and foremost, it establishes Israel as a global player capable of shaping outcomes far from its borders. Unlike most nations that confine military operations to nearby theaters, Israel demonstrated that its reach can extend thousands of kilometers when national security interests are perceived to be at stake. Second, the strike highlights the unique capability of combining intelligence, technology, and military power in a seamless package that very few nations possess. Third, the political message embedded in the strike is itself a selling point. Israel is telling Iran and its proxies that alliances and proxy wars will not shield them from accountability. For global observers, this positions Israel not merely as a reactive power but as a proactive actor shaping the dynamics of the Middle East. The price of this operation, both literal and metaphorical, is steep. On a financial level, deploying stealth fighters, precision munitions, and maintaining the vast intelligence network that makes such operations possible costs millions of dollars. But the larger price is geopolitical. By striking Yemen, Israel has widened the theater of conflict with Iran, dragging in a country already devastated by civil war. The Houthis, enraged by the loss of their top officials, are likely to intensify attacks on Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and possibly Israeli interests through long-range drones and missiles. Iran, feeling the pressure, may retaliate via Hezbollah or militias in Syria and Iraq, raising the risk of escalation into a broader regional war. The price also involves diplomatic fallout, as Israel must now justify to international audiences why such a distant strike was necessary and how it aligns with international law. In conclusion, this Israeli strike marks a dramatic escalation in the long-simmering Iran-Israel conflict. It was not just a tactical blow to the Houthis but a strategic signal to Iran and the entire region. Externally, it showed the devastating precision of Israeli military power. Internally, it shook the cohesion of Iran's proxy network. Its performance demonstrated unrivaled efficiency, its safety features limited collateral fallout, its unique selling points reinforced Israel's global military reputation, and its price reminded the world that such actions are never without cost. As the dust settles in Yemen, one thing is clear: the Middle East has entered a new and even more dangerous phase of its conflict cycle. The war that was once shadowed is now openly unfolding across multiple fronts, with Israel making clear that distance is no defense against its reach. For the world, the lesson is sobering. This is no longer just an Iran-Israel war of words and threats. It is a war of action, precision, and increasingly unpredictable consequences.